right, guys, welcome to Pick Money, the podcast, episode 43. I appreciate you joining. Thank you for participating. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing it. And we have a lot of momentum on what we're accomplishing across all of these platforms, because the thing for me is, at the end of the day, I always look back at how hard it was to get the information. And nobody made it easy for me to get it. And then nobody allowed me to, nothing was free. So what we're going to talk about today is really negotiating, leveraging, what is if you're trying to make a deal in any business you're in, if you're trying to acquire something, if you're trying to sell something, if you're trying to join something, if you're trying to get equity in something, if you're trying to negotiate a sale, you really need to understand how that works. How do you go about doing that? And I think the struggle is, most people I watch, there's a number of, if there's somebody I know and I've worked with him for a while, I can tell you what group this person falls into. If I don't know them, I can't. You can't by sight go, yeah, that dude. But when it comes to negotiating, they're those folks that don't understand that they don't have leverage. They come to you and they expect things. They believe that they're entitled things. I want to get this, even though they've not done anything to earn that. I want X, but I don't want to work. Well, it don't work that way. I don't have that much value. I haven't shown you the value yet, but I want you to pay me commensurate to my, and so I think they're the group that they're not grounded in reality. They don't know what they don't know, and they maybe don't want to know what they don't know. Then there's the group that can never see the value in what they bring. You'll talk to them, and, I was talking to a guy the other day, and I was like, how much do you want to get paid for doing all that work? And he's like, $5,000. And I'm like, all right, how'd you come up with that number? And he's like, I don't know, I just figured that's it. So he does all this work, and he GCs this small project for me, this house that needs to be gutted. And he GCs the whole thing. He probably shows up, I don't know, I bet he was there hour-wise, I don't know, a couple hundred. He put some work in. And I never had to do anything, nor did the guy that I have that handles my real estate stuff. He didn't call me because this dude just handled everything. And I said, what's the going rate to GC a project where you're at? And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, and when somebody answers a question with a question, when they're just trying to, they know what I mean, they just don't know what to say, I go, hey, next time you don't know the answer, just don't say anything. Don't ask what I mean. And these are things and word tracks you need to learn. You get a lot more respect when you go, hey, wait a minute, bro, you understood the question. I asked you what the going rate for a general contractor doing a job like this is in your area. What do you mean, what do I mean? You know what I mean. And if you don't know, you can go, I don't know. I don't know is an okay answer if you genuinely don't know. And if the person you're trying to work with, negotiate with, or do a deal with, they're going to find out you don't know anyway. Wouldn't you prefer to be the one to tell them that you don't know? That seems to be a lot easier for me. So I said it's 20% based on everything I've heard. I said, all in on this project, I'm in for 120 grand. So that'd have been 24 grand to you on top. But I'm not saying that's, and I'm just wondering how you came up with 5. Now, had he said, and this is the second group, had he said, man, I'll be honest with you, I've never done a project with you. I wanted to earn my way in. I can't live on that percentage forever. I won't make any money doing these things, but I wanted to show you my talents, my abilities, and dude, I was willing to do it. That would be, he didn't. That's the third group. Those are the people to understand when they have leverage and when they don't. Those are people that understand, hey man, I'm really good at what I do, but I've not done this for you yet. I'm going to do this one over here at this price. I got guys that have done build outs for me that, were $300 and some odd thousand the first time. And they're like, dude, I'll do it for, straight up. My material comes in, you buy it all. Here's what I want. Not material and labor. You gotta be careful with those guys where they're like material, and then they it's whatever they want it to be whenever they want it to be. So there's people that overestimate their abilities, their leverage. They may have none. There are people that underestimate their ability, their leverage. Neither one of those is great. The first group's the worst. And the last group, they have a pretty decent understanding. They may not be spot on every time, but they understand, guess what, man? We have this discussion all the time regarding athletics. And you're like, well, the same guy, I'm like, yeah, but if the same dude had done that, he's a starting player, and here's what he brings to the team for production. You don't play, so you can get a parking ticket, and it's a problem. You don't. There's really you have an inequity in bullshit you're bringing them compared to value, because you're not bringing them any value right now. Maybe one day you will, but right now you're bringing them zero value. You better bring them zero drama when it's zero value. So it's really understanding people, doing your due diligence, your research on you, not throwing up on people too. I think negotiations and deals are one, and I say one when both parties feel like they won. If I buy a house or a property from you that's in foreclosure that I really don't want, and it's worth $800,000, but you're going to lose it, and you ain't got the money to pay whatever the lender's requiring, and I don't really want to buy it, but I'm like, hey, dude, if I buy it, I'm going to buy it for, $400. We're probably never going to do a deal again. We're not. This just came across. You need the money, and I'm like, dude, I know what it's worth. It's just not worth it to me. But it's got to be both. Now, maybe down the road, I don't know, that's what he gets into for a living. He starts trying to find foreclosed properties. He's been through it himself. My point is that you really have to understand that this idea that broke people believe that, and I saw it all the time in real estate, they wanted to steal every deal. And the reality is you might steal one once, but you'll never do any business with those people again. And if they were in a really bad spot and they knew it, and you're like, hey, dude, I'm here, but I'm not going to, there's no way for me to make any kind of sense. I've had people pass on my businesses when I was selling them. I wasn't offended. They're like, no, dude, if I bought it, I'd buy it at this. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm good. I know it's worth a lot more money than that. I'm cool. But it's really getting people to understand that you really have to know how to negotiate. First of all, you need to figure out if somebody wants something or needs something. Because people come to me and go, you need this. I'm like, I don't really need anything. So you know how off-putting it is when you're like, but Sean, you need this. I'm like, I don't need this. I had a big marketing company send me an email, which, by the way, it's 2025. So you might want to catch up. It's 2025. Your stupid alarming emails, pushing this up to the top of your inbox, hate to be annoying, you need to hear this one now. Are you having a stupid catchphrase you think are going to make? Like, that's just, if it works, and I can't even believe those people have money if it works. Like, I can't believe the people that works on actually are like, yeah, I have money, I can pay, just because that's so stupid. In the beginning of the email, because you don't want to put anything emotional, like you can't do like emotional email text, it comes across the wrong way. And they're like, aren't you upset about not being able to keep up with the behemoths in this industry? Well, in that industry, there isn't anybody bigger than the company I run. They're tiny. The four companies used as an example dude, I'm much larger than they are. So, like, you got to do your research too. And I'm not interested anyway in the bullshit emails. So you can send them all you want. You can go on social media and go, love your content. And then you got to wait. And I could help you do this. It's like, sure you could. Why? It's just, and again, if it works, you'll get somebody one time, I guess. When you start negotiating and you start cutting deals, you need to understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. You're not looking to do one deal and be done. You're looking to build a track record of negotiating with people. When you sell somebody something, that's a negotiation. All you salespeople, you're negotiating. So you need to be thinking about, and I think any good sale is good for both parties. I think it's good for the guy or girl buying it, and it's good for the guy or girl selling it. You believe in your product, they've expressed an interest in your product, and you give them the best fit of your product for them and their family, whatever product you're selling. That's a win-win. People say, how do you get referrals? Treat your clients right. You'll get more referrals you know what to do with. You won't worry about having to get all these referrals and have these cute little ways to get them. They'll just refer people to you because they felt good about the transaction they had with you. Like, you've got to understand that. But it really should be based on value for both parties. That will give you a good history of successful deals. And I don't know that I love the word transaction either, because transaction means it's transactional. You know, a guy said to me the other day, he's like, you know, people pray and it's like they think that worshiping is a transaction and God's a vending machine. It don't work that way. And they're like, you know, God, just do these 4 things for me. God's like, oh yeah, man, just those 4, and those 4, done, those 4 things. Boom, boom, I'm a vending machine. Just hit F7 and all 4 of those things come out. It doesn't work that way. And I think for you, as you're building these relationships with people, every deal and every negotiation is a building block to your relationship. When you build a culmination of great relationships, you build a network of people that want to buy products from you. If you then build a business and have good negotiation and deals with the people you're in business with, you're going to build a network of people that want to be in business with you. Both of those entities are going to refer people to you. I have people that refer to me every day. There is not a day that goes by of the week, 7 days a week, that somebody doesn't send somebody, or I heard about you through so-and-so. This guy used to work with you. This person bought a product from you. Are you still in sales? Can you sell? Like, every single day. So I'm going to passively have new people every day. I don't need to go out and actively find them because of all the amazing deals I've made for all these years. So for you in the first group, you know who you are. You overestimate your ability. You overestimate your talents. You talk a lot more than you should. You ask a lot fewer questions. And people are going to pass on being in business with you because it's pretty much about you. The beautiful thing is you can change. For the second group, we all can. For the second group, you need to understand your value and you need to articulate it appropriately. And if you don't know, it's okay. How much you charge me for that? I'm like, I don't know. I've never done that before. And I've done deals where, multi-million-dollar deals. Excuse me, where I'm like, dude, I really don't know. Like, let me look I don't have an answer for you right now. If I were to broker that for you, I don't know. I don't have an answer this second. Because once you say that, like in a negotiation, if I go, dude, you know what? I really don't know, but I think I'm going to charge you 5% management fee. And then I go back and you're like, all right, dude, like, just let me know. Then I go back, do some research, and I'm like, damn, the going rate's 20%. It's about impossible to move you from 5. I already said 5. I said 5. So when I was in real estate as an agent, I would walk away. The art of negotiating, making a deal, is understanding when to walk as well. The first group, don't worry, nobody's going to do a deal with you anyway. You're going to find really desperate one-off people to do a deal on occasion. You think you're much more valuable than you are. The second group, this can happen to you because they're going to say to you, I'm in, and accept your price because you're giving it away. Or they're going to walk away from you because they're going to be nervous because there's no way. Like, I've had prices on, I've done a lot of construction over the years. I've had prices that are 50%, and that makes me nervous. I had 3 guys that bid it out at 180 grand, and you come in and you're like, I'll do it for 82. And I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously? I'm like, give me your bid. Give me your estimate. I got to see it, because you make me nervous because there's no way. It's impossible to go up. Then you don't want to guess and be too high, because if you guess at 40%, that's all I hear is 40%. I'm like, I'm out of here. And then I go home, hey, bro, I was kidding. I can do it at 20%. You're like, dude, I already got another person I'm working with. But if you go, I don't know what the going rate for that is, let me get back to you. I really don't know. When I opened my property management company, I really didn't know. Residential, I understood. I'm like, I'm going to take 15% of gross rent, collected gross rent, every month. Collected. I'm responsible for collecting it. Don't collect it. Of collected gross rent. Then I had commercial strip malls reach out to want me to do the management. I was like, let me look. This is a big, you got 17 different businesses in here. This is how many square feet you got. This is how big the parking lot is. How big, like, I really don't know, dude. I got to get some price from these guys on snow removal. It was in Connecticut, lawn. I got to look at the building. What kind of annual maintenance are we going to need? Let me be, and I really honestly don't know. Let me get back to you. And there was very few times that people just didn't let me get back to them. I didn't overcommit, but you're screwed if you're guessing. Guess too high, they ain't going to take your phone call when you call back. Guess too low, and they're like, dude, I'm getting ready for you to get started. You said 5%. When do we start? When do we start doing that? And that's why I never showed prices until I was 100% sure. Too many guys would show a price, mortify the person, and the person leaves, or they offered it for nothing. And they're like, oh, dude, I ran the numbers, man. Yeah, your credit, when you buy it, yeah, that's not, your payment's not $280 a month, it's $405. Not me, dude. I didn't pretend it was $800 a month. I didn't tell them it was 200 and change. I was like, dude, let me run the numbers. Let me get my research. When I'm negotiating with you, I'm trying to build a relationship with you first. My leverage is you realize that I'm somebody that's good for you to be in business with. I ask questions. I sell myself. But whatever I'm selling or whatever the service is, that's secondary to me. And that's what a lot of you just don't seem to get. You're too busy selling you. That's the first group. You're selling you. I'm like, dude, and dude, I'm not that enamored with you. What you're doing, a lot of other people can do. And also, you need to know who your person is. What I mean by that is the client, the person you're negotiating or trying to cut a deal with. What does he or she want? How do they do business? Do they talk a lot? Do they ask a lot of questions? Are they shy? Are they gregarious and outgoing? Do you know anybody they know? Information, knowledge is power. But a lot of people just don't do it. And the easiest way, if you don't know early on in negotiation, is say, I'm open to a lot of different things. I'm going to get the research, but I'm also open in discussing additional money to be made for both of us. What I mean by that is if I make X amount in profits, I'm willing to share some of that money. Now, you don't ever have to do that. I've had people like, I would never do that. I'm not doing that. I'm like, dude, you were in business for 6 months. You're out. I've been doing this for 30 years. And I think it's acknowledging that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And acknowledging that you can push as far as your leverage allows you. You can't push further than the leverage you've built by bringing value. So when you see me coach people and you go, I say the same things to them, they don't respond like they do to you. I go, because you outpushed your leverage. You outpushed your value. You went too far. You don't even have a relationship with them yet. But if you start watching the guy I've known for 14 minutes, I would never say the things to him that I say to the guy I've been working with for 6-7 years, ever. So, for instance, let's take, why do I do this podcast? I enjoy it. Number one, I put myself into a position where I can do things that I enjoy and not go, what's the immediate return on investment financially for me? But there's a return on investment with any of you that go out there and do better financially. Any of you. And I like starting things, seeing them through. I like building them. I like the journey. I'm a big fan of the journey. It's never been ridiculously easy or ridiculously simple, and it never happened overnight for me. And I think that's the way business runs, unless you created something that nobody's ever created and your mind works that way and you patent it and license it and you do your thing. Good for you. 99.9% of us don't work that way. But for me, I want to pay it forward and help people out. And then I hope when you do the same thing, go make money one day, you'll share with people. There's nothing worse than having knowledgeable people around you and you won't ask them anything. That's what's mind-boggling to me. Like when I had people that had done what I wanted to do, I wore them out. I wore them out until they were like either exhausted by my questions or we built a really good relationship and I actually asked whenever I wanted to. But if you were doing something I wanted to learn how to do, so that's what we do it. So you got to start thinking about, how am I building? So here's your blueprint to build value. Number one, am I delivering? What does he need and want. So let's take my jobs. I was like, all right, my first supervisor at the department, children and family, was a dude named Mike. I was like, what does Mike need from me at work? And I noticed he had a unit of 5 other dudes that were all pretty much clowns. And that while Mike was super smart, and stay with me, this shit's really important, they were clowns. And Mike was a little bit too friendly with them, even though he's very knowledgeable. So I said to myself, Mike needs somebody to do really well, but then also keep it really business when we're at work. And he needs somebody to apply peer pressure to these people when they're acting a fool. It's not really his specialty. How did I learn that? I watched. I'm smart. I watched. You're smart. Watch. I said to myself, Mike needs that. So the first time Tom acted a fool in my staff meeting, I was like, and it wasn't mine, it was Mike's. I'm like, hey, dude, if you don't mind shutting your mouth, I'm trying to learn here. Sorry, Mike, I'm not trying, but like, I actually work here, dude, and we're supposed to make sure kids are safe, and you're just nothing but a motherfucking clown, and you're annoying me. Immediately, I start bringing Mike what he needs. Mike needs then to be more serious. Mike wanted, I could tell by watching him, and I barely knew him. So I started delivering to Mike better culture inside his unit by playing a vital role. If you see me somewhere, I'm trying to figure out where I can bring value. And if I can't bring value, I'm out. Meaning, like, I'm not bringing value anyway. It doesn't matter if I'm not bringing any value. Who cares? So you really need to figure out, how do you deliver whatever that individual, that entity, that business needs and wants. They might need and want. But start with need. That's really important. So then I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to get promoted, and these guys over here make the decisions with the people getting promoted. What do they need from me? All right, well, they make a lot of changes, and a lot of times people bitch, moan, and complain about the changes. And what if I worked... First of all, educated my peers that we're not going to, like, when they make a change, it is what it is, a state entity. The change is made. And us complaining about it's not going to help. And what if I'm just like a kick-ass worker, goes out and does his job and don't cause these guys no problems, but then when there's changes, embrace the changes. Be honest if things are messed up. Like, I wish we did it this way, but I know we have to do it this way. It was easier when we used this computer system than that one. Like, cool, I get it, but I understand we're all in this together. We got to get there. It's non-negotiable. So I delivered that for them as well. Now, broke people will go, Tom kissed his ass. I go, you mean Tom negotiates and leverages his value and his and his value set and whatever benefits he brings? Like, how is he kissing ass? Broke people think every time you're nice, you're kissing ass. Well, I don't know why you're like that. I'm like, because I don't want to be where you are or where I am in my life. So I have no problem doing that. I'm not looking to argue with everybody about everything. I'm just not. Like, you've got to understand. So that's what you have to do. Then you have to check in along the way. Hey, man, like the banks, when I was borrowing money early on in my career, what do they need? Well, they wanted to build a platform. I knew it because they were trying to put money out there where they could build a model of what I was doing to have other guys do what I was doing. So I'm like, okay, hey, when I get done with these projects, but my third or fourth project, when I borrowed the money from in real estate, I said, guys, do you want me to share with you my business plan? And they said, well, what do you mean? I go, well, it's a very successful business plan, speccing, building out new houses on spec, and flipping. And I can give you all the expenses, overhead, if they hire a GC or not. Like, I have everything, and I can show you. I got 5 different house plans I picked from, so... You know, McDonald's doesn't have 73,000 sandwiches to pick from. They have a few. Like, I'm just like, I could walk you through it so you can look at the projects coming in and evaluate them relative to the project I'm doing, the ones I'm doing because I'm making money doing them. I'm turning them real quick and you're getting paid every time. They're like, you don't mind doing that? I was like, no. And then eventually, like, would you consult? Would you be on, not officially on the board? I was a 22-year-old kid, but would you be on, they had a, oh man, I forget what they called it. Anytime somebody wanted to borrow over $500,000, they had a meeting. It was their board. But then what happened is the guy that ran it would be like, can you come in so we can ask you some questions? We're not going to put you on the board, but we'd love to ask you questions. Here I am in there. I don't make any money for doing this. And I'm like, hey, dude, I know that area. Like, he's going to spend a lot more blasting over there. That's a bony, rocky area. Here's why. Here's the topography. Here's the maps I got. Like you guys don't know, I do. So now they're educated when they go back and talk to this investor. But had I not asked, they wouldn't have done it. I went to him and said, do you want me to do this? When I got into life insurance, I put all my training online. And I would say to the insurance carriers, I just want to see the industry do well. We're going to beat everybody anyway, but I want to see the industry do well. If my training's online and I'm really good at it and the other people I let talk are really good at it, aren't we all winning? You're going to sell more life insurance. You're going to make more money as a company. Isn't that what we all want? Aren't we going to do better if we all do that? Like, it's really hard to argue those points. So you've got to think, what do people need? What do I not have to do that if I do, it's going to help me in my negotiation? And then you need to build the deposits of value before you start making withdrawals. That first group makes withdrawals day one. People are like, can I do this? I am good. You're good based on what? What have you done? Hey, coach, I wish I could get more minutes. Hey, I wish I could get more out of you when you were playing. Do you think I'll get more time in this game? No. Not unless everybody's sick or everybody fouls out. You're not bringing value when you're on the court. Why are you not asking me, coach, what can I do to bring more value? What can I work on to bring more value? That's how players show coaches that they're valuable. Coach, what do you need from me? Good or bad. My high school basketball coach said, don't shoot my basketball, pass it. Cool. But I asked. So I became the best rebounder, screen setter, antagonist. I'll fight you on the court, but I will not shoot coach's basketball, dude. That ain't my job. Not unless I'm under the hoop, I'm in the paint, and hell, if I'm by the foul line, I might not need to shoot it. So you got to understand, what value do you bring? And do a value check-in on a pretty regular basis by just watching. Once you build your value tank, negotiations are so much easier. You know, why do y'all charge? I'm like, here we charge, $1,075 for a 3-bedroom apartment. Man, that's $50 before you tell me it's 50. I understand. We offer this, and this. Here's location. Here's security. Here's how we manage it. Like, I'm good. And I'm not going to go running. You also can't, every time somebody says something, change something. Oh, I'll give it over here, but I'll do it over here, and I'll do it over there. Because if you start going, what do you charge? Whatever they want. We had a real estate agent in my company, and this agent was unbelievable from a profitability standpoint, volume standpoint. And I'll never forget, I was 20. She was probably 50 at the time, 30 years ago. And I'll never forget, I said, how'd you get all those listings? She said, I cut my commission. I said, oh, shit. She's like, just for that one project. I said, you're doing that thing at 3%? She's like, yep. I said, okay. Here's the problem. All these people told everybody. So now 5% was like, 6% was like the going rate. 5 was like if you took a haircut. 4 is like you don't believe in yourself at all. And 3 was like you can only co-broke 1.5. Nobody's gonna want to sell your property at 1.5 instead of 3, half the money. So you not only did you kill your own profitability from what you're doing, you kill the ability to get the deals done. So if you're gonna do low margins, you better do high volume. Low margins, you better have real high volume. You can't have low volume and low margins. That's like you out of business. I landed this condominium complex when I was in real estate, and I sold. It was in Griswold, Connecticut, near the casinos. They had total, and I might be off by a little bit, 65, maybe 70 units. They were selling for $160, $180, long time ago. I sold 11 of them things. They had a realtor before me, sold none. I sold 11 in 90 days. And in 90 days, that we had signed a deal for 90 days. They give me 90 days. They came to me and said, we need you to cut your commission from 6% to 4%. I was like, no. They're like, what about 5%? I'm like, no. And they terminated their contract with me. And the reality is that they came back like a year later. They moved like 1 unit in a year. And I was already on doing other things, so I was good. But once I do that, first of all, I don't work for free. I don't. I don't work for free. And I'm okay walking away. You will never be okay walking away if you don't work hard enough to have enough options in what you're doing business-wise. It's like recruiting. People would tell me all the time, if I don't get paid this, I can't work with you. I was like, sounds good. They're like, well, that's it. I'm like, I don't negotiate with terrorists. When you come in and say, do this or I'm out, I'm like, okay. You don't want to negotiate. Dude, you're part of that first group. You overplayed your hand. You don't have the value to come in and bark that. Unless you like the franchise player and you're scoring all the points and everybody else sucks, and you're like, dude, I want to get this or I'm out of here. And I'm like, well, can we trade him and get a lot of value and a bunch of other picks? You're like, no. And here are the 3 reasons why we can't trade him. I'm like, we better give him what he wants, dude. He scores like, what do you want me to tell you? I don't want to lose every game either. But you really need to start to understand. The last thing I'm going to say about this is ask yourself why people say the things they say, why they think the things they think, and most importantly, why do they feel the way they feel? If you can start to understand people and watch them and read them and figure out what they need and what they want and what they don't want and what communication works and what communication does not work with them, and then try to build a track record of great, fair deals, you make money, they're happy, you're happy, then you'll build a passive funnel of recruits and referrals that you'll never outgrow because of the way you've done your deal, done your negotiations. And a lot of you don't know how to do it. You've never seen anybody do it. I watched a lot of people do it. I asked a ton of questions, and then I watched. Every day was, what am I going to bring to people that they need, that they don't know how to tell me they need it, or they're afraid to tell me they need it, and they're afraid to ask for it. And when I deliver those things, I will be in that third group where I know my value, I know what it is, I know what I deserve, and even if you go, well, you could have kept that contract and made X amount more sales, you would have. No, dude, my commission was 6%. Agents love me because we made money. They're your properties. I got like 127% on like what the market was doing, so I got you more money anyway. I was really good at negotiating. My value was in the deal. I knew how to negotiate the deals. I knew how to take care of my clients. So I think you just really need to start to understand people, ask really good freaking questions. And I really hope as you start negotiating, and a lot of it is negotiate with yourself. That's a different conversation for a different day. But you need to know when to push. When you wake up and think, I really don't feel like doing this today, how hard have you worked over the last 8, 12, 15 days? Haven't really. You better do it today. You better. Or when you wake up and go, you know what, I've done everything this person's asked me to do, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway, even though there's nothing in it for me. It's okay to say no. Your value is superseding. You bring a lot more value than they do back to you, and you just keep doing all the things they ask you to do. There's nothing in it for you. And that's a bad ROI. ROI in your investment, yes. But ROI, what is the return on investment of my time? If I'm going to talk to you for 5 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, do a meeting, is there anything in it for the company, for us? Are we getting anything we need as well? So I hope that helps. I hope you take it in. I hope you listen to it. I hope you listen to it again. It works. It's worked for me for 30 years, how I sold my companies, how I bought companies, how I've bought and got equity, how I've made decisions to walk away from deals. I've walked away from some really good, meaning like I walked away from deals that I'm so glad I didn't get involved. I've gotten involved with some and learned and been like, dude, I'm not going to do that again. But everything is a learning experience. So, all right, we're going to do questions. So comments. If you have comments, I'll read them. If you have a comment about something you don't like, you have to give some background. You can't just go, I don't like that. Well, dude, you have to have an answer. That's not how adults work. So if you're like, I tried this, it didn't work, I'll talk to you about it. I'll answer your questions. I don't care what the comments are, what the questions are. I'm here. So you want to watch the pod, you look at Pick Money, you want to hear about something else, you have a question about something else, you have a comment, I will read them. All right? If you've never seen Mother, you need to see the Fully Loaded podcast I got with Chris Carter too. That's 100% sports related. It's great. I love doing that. It's a different deal, but we're crushing it there. We've been doing that for less than a year as well. So you can see that on YouTube everywhere with Chris Carter and I. All right. Track Mala 4013. First video on the channel. I'm here thanks to the School of Hard Knocks. Thank you. I love those guys. James and that crew is great at Hard Knocks. They're awesome. I'm about to launch my cybersecurity activity as a freelancer. I'm not from the U.S. I'm from France, and I didn't have any role models in my life. So thank you for the inspiration, because from what I see about you, you didn't need to do any of this stuff for yourself. Well, thank you, Track Mala 4013. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for watching the videos. And if I can help you in any way, business-wise, I will help you. I will help you avoid mistakes. I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't apologize for knowing a lot about business. I know a lot about business. I know a lot about multiple lines of business, selling companies in multiple industries, And it's something I've become very successful at, and I want to share that information with you. Sad Smile Clothing. It's the worst day of my life, and I love every part of it. Let's go. And a hammer. I guess that might mean let's go to work. I don't know if I said it's the worst day of my life. I definitely didn't say that. Maybe I was talking about if it's the worst thing you guys work and go to work. But I do appreciate you for commenting. Jay Miles, keep getting up is the story of my life. My resilience is my superpower. The key, Jay, is, you know, if you can keep that long term. You know, a lot of folks are like, man, I keep getting up. I'm like, I know, but you sit on the bench 2 days later. Like, you're tired. Like, if resilience is not ability, right? So anybody can be resilient. So keep up your superpower. Keep doing your thing, Jay. Appreciate y'all. Jokertran 14, all the more reason I hate saying fake it till I make it. I never say fake it till you make it. So I know you're not talking about me. Somebody else might have said it. I go to work and build my value like we're talking about here. And that'd be part of the first group we talk about negotiation. They're full of shit and they're faking. It's like, do people know you're full of shit? You know? Maria Hinderleiter. How ironic. I grew up in the foster care system. Rare case of 6 months to 18 years old. Out on my own at 16. Social work to life insurance makes perfect sense. It made a lot of sense to me because I loved helping the families I worked with. I loved solving problems. I loved being there. I was in their homes, and it was like I wasn't uncomfortable because I knew I was there to do a job, but I was young when I started, and like I didn't know a lot about any of this stuff, having family, kids. I was well before I'd entered any of that part of my life. So I do think it's a great fit. So if it's something you're looking to do, I think you should look it up. Let me know. I can connect you with somebody. But it definitely, for me, made me feel gratified. And working with the foster care system, working as a social worker, if it paid me the kind of money I wanted to have financial freedom for my family, I'd probably still be doing it. But I wanted a different way of life. But I still wanted to serve people and help them out. Wink Meister. Great segment, Sean. Has been a while since the algorithm suggested your channel. We'll get caught up. Thank you, Wink Meister. I appreciate you, and I'm glad that. And that's the thing about social media too. You're realizing, man, it's the algorithm, dude. You know, providing the value to people that they are looking for. We do this every day. Like, what do they need? We sit down and go, what do people need? What can we provide back? What can we help with? So, if you have a comment, you have a question, if you're like, man, I'd love you to talk about this. And if I think it makes sense for people to hear about it, damn, I'll do it. And if you have some questions, I'll answer those for you as well. I really appreciate you subscribe, share, and I appreciate your support of the channel. We're going to help people make money. We're going to help them have a different way of life. We're going to help them understand how to do it. You know, I was talking to a group of young people the other day, and I was like, give me the 10 reasons why people are successful in business. They give me 10 reasons. I said, which one of those 10 reasons required ability? They looked around and said, no, which one of those 10 you just gave me? Resilience, hard work, positive mindset. Which one of those requires ability? That was that's an ability. You can't develop it. They're like, none of them. Exactly. So what's your excuse for not having the return on the money you want and not making money for yourself in a capitalist society where you can go do this? Doesn't require any talent. But it does require information. It does require knowledge. It does require correction. It does require feedback, and you get that here on Pick Money. So we'll see y'all next week. Same place, same time. Thanks, guys.